gives me really great pleasure to be here and to be talking on issues that pertain to mining, especially in Africa. First of all, my name is Hamdou Wane, but sometimes you will just find Hamdou Wane, and it's not Wane. We are a big clan from Senegal to northern Nigeria, and we have not waned over the last centuries. So it's one, it's a French word. So as Salim said, I had been working on many areas, and to mention an important area, which is economic transformation. I have been working first on agricultural transformation, and then on economic structural transformation, and by and large, which is economic transformation. And coming to Brisbane, I thought of, trying to see what are the links, what links are really relevant today in Africa when it comes to mining and economic transformation. What are the main interrelationship that we can elicit from the policy agenda of the day in Africa. Africa is transforming rapidly, is growing rapidly, but not transforming enough. And this is due also mainly to the way the mining sector, the extractive sector, let's say extractive sector, be it mining, be it minerals, be it even fishery, because it's an extractive industrial sector, be it forest, have been managed over the last 50 years or so. Therefore, bringing in the discussion here, the agenda on economic transformation is very crucial, because it's the new paradigm for Africa's development. So every partners of Africa have to be conscious of that, aware of that, you have in Africa a leadership which is determined to do that transformation, to get rid of poverty, to get rid of foreign aid, and to bring strong, resilient economies. So, without further ado, look first at some examples of Africa's natural mineral wealth. Here is a map that has been produced by a think tank which is based in Ghana, and which has been founded and which is headed by our former executive secretary at UNECA, Mr. K.Y. Amwako. And this think tank is named African Center for Economic Transformation. They issued their second or their third report this year, and it's about managing Africa's natural wealth. And this map shows the percentage, for instance, of world production in minerals in Africa, estimated annual export revenue, and average annual revenue potential from new projects. And it shows very clearly that in some solid minerals, Africa is still on the top. And we have many economies which are number one. And it shows also how important is our export revenues, even though we could gain more from our export revenues, and the revenue potential from new market. It shows abundance of oil, gas, and minerals, as I just said, high economic dependency on the extraction and exports in these minerals, in oil, and in gas. But exports are still limited to raw products. However, and therefore we are missing opportunities actually in Africa to develop economy-wide links for increased income and employment. Extractive industry is not contributing to job creation, to revenue generation, etc. And since these are raw materials, raw commodities, they are highly exposed to volatility in prices and in revenues, of course, for the state, for the government, and for the countries. And given the very nature of these resources, which are exhaustible and which are non-renewable, we have serious challenges for sustainability of these economies. I was talking about, previously I mentioned the new drive in Africa, the determination of the new leadership. And when it comes to mining, this has implied the definition of a vision for the sector, which is the Africa Mining Vision. And the Africa Mining Vision is implemented through a center which is called the Africa Minerals Development Center, which is a joint initiative of African Union Commission, of African Development Bank, and of UNECA, joined later on the implementation phases by UNDP. Okay? Here you recognize also some of the partners. So, this vision has been developed through a process which has started mid-2000s and culminated in August 2008 with a technical task force which was settled by UNECA together with African Union Commission, and this task force really kicked off the process of defining that vision. The draft was tabled before the first conference of ministers in charge of minerals, mining sector, in October 2008, and endorsed by the ministers, and was then put it on the table of the head of state and government in February 2009. The vision was then adopted. And this vision is stated. Okay, this is the text of the Africa Mining Vision at the bottom. We have the two first pages. The second one showing all the minerals with their symbols, etc., displayed over Africa's map. The vision, as it's stated, says that we are aiming to a transparent, equitable, and optimal exploitation of mineral resources to underpin broad-based sustainable growth and socio-economic development. Meaning, really, the mining sector, the extractive sector, should be at the core of any strategy for sustainable growth and socio-economic development in Africa. This vision is a holistic one, and it proceeds from an out-of-the-box thinking, out of the mining sector thinking. Because we, mining sector, as other sectors, should be considered as part and parcel of a global development strategy. And therefore, it calls for looking beyond just improving mineral regimes, meaning optimization of tax revenue and proper allocation of income, etc. You know all these issues. Beyond that, into integrating mining much better into development policies at local, national, and regional levels. At local levels, the real benefits from large-scale industrial mining should accrue to workers and to communities, and also for environmental protection. Second, at the national levels, fair resource rent and local inputs, meaning all these local content policies, etc., for operation through negotiation or renegotiation of contracts with mining multinationals. And third, at the regional level, the head of state has called for one market, one African market for the mining sector, an integrated, region-wide mining market. Okay? And meaning linking production to trade, meaning exploitation to trade. Okay? And of course, this should be the conduct for this beneficiation. This should be the conduct for value added, for market access, etc. Okay? So this vision has to be pursued. Africa should put in place the means to attain or to obtain, to have this vision realized. An international study group on Africa's minerals regime was put in place, and which through a very large international consultative process produced this book, which is meant to support the AMV, the Africa Mining Vision, in terms of advocacy, to inform the policy decisions, and as a key reference guide for the implementation of the vision and for the establishment of the center. This is a book that we really recommend. It's it's very intensive research that has been done, on all aspects: economic, environmental, governance, etc. So this is really a reference guide for the sector. The report is based on the central premise of the AMV, which is that structural transformation of African economies is an essential component of any long-term strategy to ensure the attainment of the MDGs, to eradicate poverty, and underpin sustainable growth and development. And this requires a strategy which should be rooted in the utilization of Africa's significant resource assets, in particular, of course, in the mining sector. The goal of the center is, which has been put in place, which is almost operational now, is to provide strategic operational support for the vision and for its action plan, and its mission accordingly is to work with member states, their national and regional organization, meaning African Development Bank, meaning the regional economic communities, to promote the transformative role of mineral resources in the development of the continent through increased economic and social linkages. Three main strategic outcomes are expected from the center. The center, we will see, the focus is really on knowledge. Really, it's a knowledge-based, it's knowledge-generating institution. The first expected outcome is an enhanced use of geological and geospatial information to manage the long-term development outcomes in African mining economies. This, I think, resonates with what you are doing, as you can see. The second one is about an improved governance of the African mining sector that is socially and environmentally accountable. This also resonates, I think, with your governance program. And the third one is to have a highly skilled and knowledge-driven mining sector, which delivers greater economic and social benefits, but as a result of higher productivity levels. So we have the knowledge per se, let's say, in terms of information, generating and using geospatial and geological information. We are aiming at this knowledge-driven mining sector, meaning upgrading the technology in the mining sector, upgrading the knowledge, improving, expanding the knowledge base, qualitative and quantitative base, but also aiming at this highly skilled and knowledge-driven mining sector. As I was saying in the introduction, economic transformation is a new paradigm for Africa's development. At the highest level, at the UN level, with the UN high-level panel, which was put in place to define the new development goals for post-2015, economic transformation has been endorsed also as a strategy, the option that should open up opportunities for productive jobs and secure livelihoods to make growth inclusive and reduce poverty and inequality. Second, raising poverty for higher growth and sustained broad-based growth. This, you cannot do it without transforming the structure of the economy, and also without, it's not only about structural transformation, economic transformation process, as we will see. And putting in place the right business environment and connecting the local to the global value chains, connecting producers to local and global value chains. And then the last one, the green economy, supporting new ways of consuming and producing, including in the mining sector, okay? Of course, in all sectors. And second, after this global level, we come to Africa, Africa's level. Here, the African Union Commission has designed also an agenda, a vision for Africa's economic transformation, which is Africa Vision 2063, which has been designed by AU, ECA, African Development Bank. Okay? These three institutions, once again. These three institutions has a joint secretariat. I should say that even African Union Commission was, at the time, was Organization of African Unity. It was created by ECA in 1963. ECA was established in 1958. And all regional organizations in Africa, including African Development Bank, with the regional economic communities, just name them, SADC, COMESA, etc., have been established also by ECA. Okay? And ECA is pursuing this work now in the field of development with these centers. African Minerals Development Center, African Climate Policy Center, African Trade Policy Center, Land Policy Initiatives, etc. So we should think of all of this as a compact, development compact for Africa. So African Union, this new vision 2063 agenda, it calls once again for regional integration within the global economy. As I said before, economic transformation, we cannot think of it also in the small confines of these minuscule economies in many cases. Through development of human capital, through education and training, and especially in STI, science, technology, and innovation. Science, technology, and innovation. Second, accelerating infrastructure development in priority sectors. Energy, transport, ICT, all these have regional programs in Africa. You have a regional program on infrastructure, which is the PDIA, Program for Development of Infrastructure in Africa. Telecommunication, communication, ICT, etc. You have transport, of course, communication, transport. Okay? These are big corridors, highways, northern corridor, southern, etc. You should be able to travel from Cairo to Cape Town by going west. Understand? There are now some, let's say, segments of this network which are missing. For instance, a bridge over Senegal River between Mauritania and Senegal. Okay. Some are reluctant on one side, which I won't name. Okay, but you have these, all these initiatives which are going on. And lastly, fostering meaningful public-private partnerships. Now, ECA, in its work to accompany this process, and ECA also triggered the rethinking. In my introduction, I referred to agricultural transformation. We have been doing work on agricultural transformation since late 90s, early 2000. And then into structural transformation, also advocating for regionally integrated agricultural value chains, for instance. This is work that has been done by ECA. I was part of the team that was doing it. So, and all this culminated, report after report. This is ECA flagship report, Economic Report on Africa, which is an annual publication, and report after report, just hammering the idea and digging further, taking one sector, going global, back and forth, and every time, of course, submitting to the ministers in charge and having endorsement and moving forward. And in 2013, the report was on this theme, making the most of, you have it here at the corner, left corner, it's about industrialization as the option to attain economic transformation through job creation, economic growth, and economic transformation. Industrialization as a weapon, let's say, to attain this. This was based on the premise that, okay, globally, we have this task outsourcing, because it was in the advanced economies and then in the emerging economies. China, India, they are outsourcing tasks beyond their core competencies. And these are opportunities for Africa, for instance. Okay? Like manufacturing, mostly, okay? And services in ICT, for instance. You have in some African countries now which are exporting ICT services. They are exporting telecommunications. South Africa is in India, South African firms. You have software developed by Kenyans which are used worldwide by the UN system or which are used by commercial firms, etc. Even in Senegal, you have it. And with this new, okay, maybe we will come back to it in the discussion. But these are very important also to take into consideration when we even think of mining. We will share some ideas on the how. Okay, and therefore, there is a global shift in the global value chain. And Africa should reposition itself in this new global economy. So, this also implies potential for changes in the relationship, meaning in terms of location, between exploitation and processing of oil, gas, and minerals. Because the problem we are facing is that we have this disconnect. Exploitation in Africa and everything else downstream out of Africa. And then we import the cars, we import all steel-made stuff, etc. So we import the mobile phone, we import this. Okay, what's the percentage of resources from Congo, DR Congo in this too? You will tell us. So there is now possibility, if we think also that the firms, that the multinationals, which are just after profit, see now to Africa one big market. You have Comesa, for instance. Comesa, the GDP, combined GDP, it's about $700 billion from Cape Town to Cairo. Okay. So there's a market for mineral-based products to be produced in Africa. You see, now car companies are coming to Africa. You know, we have new assembly factories in Cote d'Ivoire, in Ghana, in Nigeria, maybe very soon in Senegal. So we had it. Okay. We had first Iranians, we had then Indians, Tata, but others are coming also in Morocco, etc. So the industrialization process should be commodity-based, as it has been, you know, in Latin America, in Asia, etc. And we have the commodities. As we showed it in the first map, we have the commodities. Africa has the commodities. So, and ECA ministers, we have a joint meeting, annual joint meeting of ministers of finance, planning, and economic development, and which then, always organized before the AU Conference of Ministers of Economy, okay? And Finance. And sometimes they have joint conference. This was a 6 years joint conference in 2013, and it endorsed the economic transformation agenda that was put forward by and researched by ECA and AU. For Africa to translate growth into an all-encompassing structural transformation, and once again to strengthen the knowledge and information base for risk management and sustained development. Okay? Here we come to what can we draw from this for research and training at SMI. In research, given this emphasis on productivity should improve productivity. To be competitive, we should improve productivity. Economic transformation is not only about structural transformation, transformation in the structure of the economy, from low value added or lower productive sectors like agriculture and mining to higher productivity sectors like services, manufacturing and services. It's also about increasing productivity levels in the firms, the government offices, in the business. It's also about export competitiveness. It's also about investing, upgrading the technology to be able to do that. All these are links. Yeah? And therefore, productivity and total factor productivity levels are crucial. Okay? And here we let's say a few words about why it is so important. As we know, the growth in total factor productivity accounts for the changes in the output, in what is produced, which are not caused by the input, let's say, okay, by the quantity or changes in the quantity of labor and capital. Okay? Second, it represents the effects of technology change, meaning how knowledge is used in the production process. Okay? Once again, we hammer this idea. Knowledge, this is crucial. Innovation, technology, etc. So this helps us. We use it. It's not a perfect instrument, but we use it to represent the effect of technological change and efficiency improvements. And this is also crucial for the mining sector, as you know. Okay. And lastly, it illustrates, of course, our inability, this is not proclaimed very often, to measure the contribution of all the inputs, the unknown. Okay? Here, we try to, we are showing just the key variables. We don't talk about the method, but the key variables that are important. This information that we should provide is not only geological information, we say geospatial information. But geospatial is just specializing indicators, economic, social, or whatever information. Here, when we look at value added, labor, and capital, we see what are the kind of variables that we should be generating to be able to track TFP growth, meaning how the economy is functioning, how the mining sectors, or how even a company, a mining company, okay, has improved in its organization, in technology, in the management, etc., and how it has impacted its productivity. We are concerned about improving productivity, increasing the base of the economy, but increasing productivity. Okay? And therefore, and since also we say economic transformation, we should be taking people out of agriculture, out of the mining sector also, to other sectors. But these sectors should be more productive. So these are the information that are crucial and which are not actually available. We did a review. They are not available at the sector level, and most of them, when it comes to quality, for instance, of labor, when it comes to a contribution, for instance, of ICTs, of finance to to capital growth, for instance. These are not available, even at the countrywide. Yeah? We have number of connection, ratios in connection, etc., connectivity, mobile subscription, things like that. But this doesn't show the impact of ICT on the profitability, let's say, of an investment, for instance. So, and this is, we think, an area really, when we talk about sustainability of the mining sector, this is an area to look into for every research institution if it wants to add value to what is going on. Because these propositions that we are making are complementary. We try for them to complement what is going on in different institutions in Africa, starting with the African Development Center, Minerals Development Center. Okay, second, there has been a call, repeated calls, for integrated economic, environmental, and social statistics. Even for the mining sector, this has been endorsed by the African Development Forum, AIDS, which Salim attended in 2011 or 2012 in Addis, which was on natural resources, okay? And which called for the establishment of integrated economic, environmental, and social statistics for forest sector, for land, for fisheries, and for mining sector. Okay? And this can be done through satellite account to national account systems. Okay? And there is a global team working on this within the UN, and there are also some countries which have made real progress in that area since, let's say, almost since the Rio conference. And among these countries, okay, let's say first a few words about this satellite account. Here we have a definition from the Swiss Federal Statistical Office. The satellite accounts offer an extension to the central framework of the national account, okay? The national accounts, by providing a detailed representation of a particular area of the economy, or by developing alternative concepts. For instance, if you want to green the account, okay? Specific needs with regard to non-monetary data, social, for instance, ecological data, and information are thus met, enabling in-depth analysis. Second, Australia. Australia national accounts, we have developed a tourism satellite account in 2010-2011. And the same idea here is repeated. Why are we focusing on this? We think that there is a room for the Institute here to work with Australia National Statistical Office, for instance, to develop green satellite account for the mining sector in Africa. There is a need to do that. Okay. The only country which is quite well advanced in that area is South Africa, of course, as usual. So there is a need really to develop this, and there is a policy mandate for ECA to do it. ECA is not doing it yet. This is an area which is really very, very important. Okay, and on training, okay, these are the two. Of course, your program on governance is important. It's very relevant. I don't mention it because you have already on program on that. And your program on the social impact, all these. But you can translate the results of these researches into data for the satellite account, meaning really have an integrated program. Okay? Training, skills development for extractive and related activities. This is crucial. And supporting, which is equally important, supporting engineering and science in universities and in technical and vocational schools in Africa. The World Bank issued a report in 2009 on catching up on tertiary education. And they assessed that on average, in sub-Saharan Africa, you had a vacancy rate of 25 to 50% in the universities on engineering and science. So, you see, academic training in this for mining. Okay? And last but not least, integrated management of mining for policy making, using also the results of this integrated satellite accounts, using the result of research on productivity, TFP studies, etc. Okay? This is a graph where we show country by country when was the last year for in which the national accounts were based actually. That's the last year. Okay. You see Congo and Swaziland 1990, meaning this is not relevant anymore. And at the last, the most recent were South Africa 2005, Ghana 2006, Rwanda the same, Sierra Leone, Seychelles, and Malawi and Namibia 2007. Okay? And this is very important because the structure has so much change. And our agenda is an agenda of economic transformation. Therefore, we should be capturing the new sources of growth, including if in the mining sector, the mining sector becomes more, let's say, knowledge-driven. So this will have changes in terms, this will induce changes in terms of contribution of the ICT to production, productivity of the mining sector, for instance. Okay? All those investments also that have been made, etc. This is for mining. You think of any other sector, it's the same. Nigeria rebased its national accounts last year, and overnight it was the first African economy before South Africa. Okay? So this is something also that you can contribute to by developing, rolling out these programs, satellite account, TFP studies, etc. Because you are generating actually new data on investment, on intermediate consumption, okay, etc. So you can have these on employment, etc. So we'll stop here. And we can come back to any issues of interest in the discussion. I just do hope that this is a contribution. You can take it as a contribution, and it can trigger a conversation that we could start on these very important issues. Thank you for your kind attention.